Hey, extremely busy. What's up? Is a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums. And once again, today, like many other days, I am extremely busy and I'm about to be late for class, so I need to finish this album review as fast as possible. So, anyways, Mac Miller Balloonerism is the album I'm going to be talking about today. It's been released quite like over a month already, and I can't quite find the right time to listen to and review this album, so I decided to do it a couple days ago, but of course I was not free and I decided to wake up a little early this morning just to review this. So, Mac Miller, rapper, Balloonerism. This is his second posthumous album. If you didn't know this, Mac Miller had unfortunately passed away in 2018 due to a drug overdose, and ever since then, his label had been releasing posthumous albums. And by that I mean they only released one posthumous album at that point, and that is Circles. Because Circles is an album Mac Miller was pretty much ready to release right before his passing, but of course his passing happened and it wasn't released. So it was polished a little bit and was released in 2020, which is fantastic. Circles is a fantastic album that is insightful, personal, moving, soft, and unbeknownst to me and I guess a lot of other people, there's going to be a second posthumous album from Mac Miller, and that is Balloonerism. And not only that, but apparently this is an unreleased mixtape recorded all the way back in 2014. This album is recorded in ancient times. It's really old. And surprisingly, even though Mac Miller's very early stuff are poppier, more straightforward, 2014 is an era in Mac Miller's career where he tries to go a little weird and experimental, and Balloonerism is truly one of his most experimental and impressionist work to date. And I guess maybe it's unreleased because it wasn't really in line with a lot of other Mac Miller stuff, but Balloonerism ends up being very interesting, especially given the style of this album and how ethereal and dreamy yet morbid sometimes it is. And it is extra morbid and eerie, considering that so much of Balloonerism is about taking drugs. So that really hurt. So the album opener opens off with a noisy tambourine intro, which transitions into DJ's chord organ. It is a pretty interesting song. SZA sings on this track. It's 11 years ago, and SZA singing on it. And it's a track that sets the tone for the rest of the album. It's a bit of an empty track, but it really sets the tone lyrically, as it is about a man who is aimlessly driving, looking to drugs to find some kind of direction in life. Then, of course, aptly, we have the next track, Do You Have a Destination, with its ethereal, wavy woodwinds and pained lyrics about helplessness, yet paired with a comedic ending in the last verse of the track. Following that, $5 Pony Rides is a much poppier and jazzier track about escapism. Again, very sad lyrics, but very beautiful instrumentals to pair with those sad lyrics, which I think is pretty much a running formula for this album. Following that, Friendly Hallucinations is very moody, very loosely structured. It's about hallucinations, it's about seeing things. Mrs. Deborah Downer is instrumentally, I can only describe as how it feels to be high. It's so spacey, yet so warm and chill. Warm and chill doesn't go together, but it's warm and it's relaxing and it's so spacey, yet it feels like you're slowly being lifted off the earth. Lyrically, it is about being with a person who encourages you to take drugs, particularly downers. Then following that, we have Stoned, which is of course about weed, and it's even spacier, even looser. The drums on this track sounds like a rock being smashed, but you're in a cave and it happened 50 miles away and you're only hearing the faint echoes of it. Shangri-La has a pretty funny spoken word intro, and then it is followed with some sporadic yet quiet hi-hats. And then Funny Papers, one of the biggest tracks on the album, is a solid piano-driven track, where we see Mac Miller doing this goofy British accent in the intro. Very goofy, very funny. And then we have some very beautiful descriptions of aging. Excelsior is a track about the loss of innocence. Transformations features Delusional Thomas, which is actually just Mac Miller himself under a different name. Mannequins have these chilling shots of harps that I quite like. Rick's Piano is, of course, a reference to Rick Rubin, legendary musical producer. And we have washed out pianos, tons of vocal effects from pitch change to weird scratchy effects. The whole track just feels very drunk and lost. And those string of tracks, while instrumentally really beautiful, there are definitely some forgettable moments here and there. But what's extremely intriguing is that this album ends with Tomorrow We'll Never Know, which is a 12-minute long mega track, which sounds like a bunch of faint memories cascading over each other. It's also the most personal and moody moment in his discography, with very heavy lyrics and sound effects of kids playing and the phone ringing at the end, which is very just eerie and even dark. So yeah, overall this is a very interesting album, very good as a posthumous album. Of course, at this point in time, whenever we have a posthumous album, our eyebrows are always raised, like, is it going to be good? But this one is really good, and it is just extra chilling given the lyrical content of this album. I'm giving Mac Miller's Balloonerism a decent 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to the new Mac Miller? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.